Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Senator Richard Black, General Ashley, friends from the United States Department of Defense, Department of State, military, services attaches from brotherly nations, respected members of Pakistani community, and respected guests. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome you at the occasion of Pakistan's Defense Day reception. I thank you all for gracing the occasion to honor the brave defenders of our homeland. This year we have dedicated Defense Day celebration to underscore the role of women in the arms who stand strong in the defense of motherland in the armed forces of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, Defense Day is of immense significance to our national history. The origin of this day are traced to September 6, 1965, when the enemy dared to attack us. We not only successfully defended our motherland and inflicted a humiliating defeat to the aggressor on land, air, and sea. Unfortunately, the core of the problem continues to linger as the resolution on Kashmir remains an unimplemented agenda. As you must have noticed, that Kashmir is not a mere episode of civil unrest, but rise of Kashmiri nation demanding the right of self-determination. In the last 2.5 months, more than 60 civilians have lost their lives. Kashmir issue is truly the mother of all conflicts in the region that afflicts the life of around 1.2 billion people. The world needs to play its role. Ladies and gentlemen, our tradition of professionalism and honor through supreme sacrifice continues while the nation stands united and determined behind its armed forces. As Pakistan Armed Forces are now engaged in undoubtedly the world's largest counter-terrorism endeavor, we have more than 2 lakh men fighting just in tribal areas of Pakistan. Our armed forces are now clearing out the last bastions of resistance in one of the most impassable terrains in the world. Our war is yet not over. No amount of rhetoric can diminish the successes we have achieved so far. Let there be no mistake about our resolve. We have laid around 60,000 lives in making this world a better place. Let us not forget the massacre of innocent children of public school of Peshawar, Baqia Khan University, and cowardly attempts against Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai. Our proud status as the second largest troops contributing nation in the world in the peacekeeping operations and second biggest contributor in the maritime domain in coalition efforts in Indian Ocean speaks for itself. Ladies and gentlemen, my speech shall be incomplete if I do not make mention of our time-tested friendship with the United States of America. A nation that has seen no lesser challenges and treaded no easy path. Our militaries enjoy a long-standing relationship that we are so proud of. We greatly value our support. We greatly value the support of the United States and their cooperation, both in fighting terrorism and beyond. We believe that we both great nations can make this world an abode of peace. Long live Pakistan Armed Forces, long live Pakistan, long live our great friendship with the United States of America. Thank you.
Senator Black, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the Pakistan Embassy for Pakistan's Defense Day. This is an occasion to commemorate the sacrifices of our martyrs who laid down their lives to defend our homeland in the War of 1965. It was on September 6, 1965, when our armed forces, with the backing and support of the people of Pakistan, defended our freedom and liberty against the insidious designs of a much larger adversary. Ladies and gentlemen, as a young student in September 1965, I vividly remember the extraordinary display of national cohesion in support of our armed forces to protect the country. We see the same national consensus today as we move forward in our efforts of nation building and eradicating terrorism from our soil. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan's armed forces, the Army, its Air Force and Navy, have always responded promptly and courageously to any foreign threat or domestic challenges. In meeting these challenges, our brave and valiant soldiers have always lived up to the expectations of the nation. Defense Attaché Brigadier Sarfraz Ali earlier talked about the professional skills and devotion of our soldiers, sailors, and airmen and women who in September 1965 emerged victorious against all odds. Even today, we are witnessing their sacrifices against the enemies of a civilized world. As the operation Zarb-e-Azm, the operation that we launched in North Waziristan to eradicate safe havens which had been established in the tribal areas of Pakistan, the operation, by the grace of God, is coming to its final stage. I am happy to report, ladies and gentlemen, that we have completely dismantled and destroyed the command and control structure of terrorism in North Waziristan. Recently, we hosted 4 members of the US Senate to Pakistan. They visited North Waziristan last month, and on their return, they also paid glowing tributes to the armed forces of Pakistan for the manner in which they fought these evil forces of terrorism in the tribal areas of Pakistan, and they continue to do so. Today, the rate of the state has been re-established in almost 98% of that region. Currently, the process of resettlement and rehabilitation of the internally displaced people is underway, and we hope to complete this process by winter this year. It's a matter of immense satisfaction for us as Pakistanis that our struggle against terrorism has contributed significantly towards regional and global peace. We hope the international community will acknowledge our ultimate sacrifice and show solidarity with the people and armed forces of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, let me mention the contribution of Pakistan military towards international peace and security. Pakistan is amongst the largest troop contributing countries in the US peacekeeping operations around the world. Since 1960, when the first contingent was deployed in Congo, Pakistan military has participated in 41 peacekeeping missions in 23 countries, with over 150,000 peacekeepers deployed in most difficult and trying conditions. 150 Pakistani peacekeepers have embraced martyrdom while contributing to world peace. At home, many of our soldiers have lost their lives during construction of civic infrastructure all across Pakistan, during the floods, during the earthquake. Their contributions will always be remembered by the people of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, strong and robust bilateral defense relations, as the defense advisor just mentioned, are a pillar of an enduring partnership between nations. Pakistan's defense cooperation with the United States is a manifestation of this axiom. Relations between our two countries, our defense communities, are characterized by close coordination, high frequency of senior level exchanges, and growing partnership in areas that serve mutual interest. Today, officers from Pakistan and the US Defense Forces are working together on a wide spectrum of common objectives, such as countering the threat of IEDs, counter-terrorism, counterinsurgency, and keeping the ground, air, and sea lines of communication open to facilitate the US efforts for peace and stability in our region. For over a decade, Pakistan and the United States of America have maintained seamless and uninterrupted cooperation in fighting sea piracy and securing sea lanes in the region. As I speak to you, ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I say this with a degree of pride that Pakistan Navy is holding the command of Task Force 151 and providing leadership for maritime security around the Gulf of Aden. Our armed forces have always risen to the occasion, not only because of their training, commitment, and a high sense of patriotism, but also because of the assistance that we received from our partners and allies, including the United States of America. From sharing of knowledge to provision of equipment, we greatly admire your support and assistance over the years. We are accordingly extremely grateful to the US Congress, the people of the United States of America, for the partnership that they have demonstrated towards Pakistan in meeting many of our challenges in the past. And I have absolutely no doubt that this partnership is going to continue in the years to come. Distinguished guests, on this occasion, I must mention about the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are yearning to see the dawn of freedom. We are pained to know that the innocent people of Kashmir are suffering the most brutal form of repression. Young and old, men and women are being subjected to most inhuman and degrading torture by an occupying force. It is imperative that all the civilized people and countries feel the sufferings of the people of Kashmir and raise their voice in support of their legitimate and internationally recognized right to self-determination. We in Pakistan will continue to extend our moral, diplomatic, and political support to the people of Jammu and Kashmir to realize their promised right to the self-determination. Before I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all personnel of Pakistani Armed Forces and pay tribute to those men and women and their families who sacrificed their life for the liberty and freedom of their fellow citizens and prosperity of their nation. Pakistan Zindabad, long live US-Pakistan friendship. And ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned to you earlier, we are greatly honored by the presence of Senator Black amongst us this evening. And it is my proud privilege to request Senator Black for his speech on this occasion. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ambassador, Brigadier Ali, thank you very much for your invitation to be here. I will tell you that throughout many decades, the United States has viewed Pakistan as an important ally, an essential ally. And we see in the Pakistani military an institution of enormous respect with the Pakistani people. And we see an institution that interacts in a way with the civil government, which is a very positive influence, and we think this is an excellent thing. We are quite aware of the tremendous progress made by the Pakistani Army in clearing the tribal areas. This has been an enormous undertaking and one that I think you can take enormous pride in. This was not an easy task. I know that many people have sacrificed and lost their lives in the process, but I think it will make Pakistan stronger, and I think it will make the world more stable. As we go forward, of course, there will be changes in the United States coming up very soon, and it is my hope that we will see a relook of American foreign policy. I think there are things that we can do that can be of help to your nation. I hope to see our nation gradually move away from concept of regime change. I think we need a greater respect for the nations, the cultures, the history, things that only someone from that nation can understand comprehensively. And we need to go beyond the time when we feel that somehow we know better than the people of individual nations. And I believe if we can draw back from this period of regime change, and particularly the exploitation of religious divisions as a means of exerting power and influence, I think this will be a positive thing. I envision this happening, and I think there will be positive things on the horizon. I think that we will see an improved military doctrine, and I would hope that as regards Pakistan, that the United States will be a consistent and predictable ally that you can look upon and you can say, we know tomorrow that they will do this because they did this yesterday and they did this the day before. And they will be there for us, and they will be our friends through thick and thin. And so this is certainly my prayer for the future of our nations. And once again, I applaud all of the military members who are here for your sacrifices and the many things that you have done on behalf of Pakistan and human civilization. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador, sir. Thank you, Mr. Senator. Ladies and gentlemen, a tribute to our children of Peshawar,